I'm a graduating senior. I just want to make a quick announcement about the room. This room is the Community Commons for those who it's first time being here. They don't ever let us bring food in here, and so they're very particular about sort of the cleanliness of the room. We want to have this event for years to come, so we want to make sure that the room stays and maintains clean. So yeah, please be cognizant of that as we move forward.
Everybody seated? All right. To formally announce myself, I guess, introduce myself, I am Jonathan Logan, class of 2018. Before we get into the 3 E's of discussion for the evening, I'm just going to say quick thank you to Mr. Massey, who a few months ago reached out to me to help organize and start developing this entire thing that we are able to partake in today. And really, for the first time, actually have an entire collective of Black alumni and bringing them together with students of color for a dialogue and discussion like this. So, this evening we are going to be talking about the 3 E's of discussion, which, as you see, are up there. Experience, enrollment, and education. These 3 things we feel are some of the pinnacles of our experience as Black men, as people of color in this entire institution, which have defined a lot of our experiences and our times here. So first things first, we are going to talk about experience. The question I asked you all before we got into this was, what does it mean to be Black at Xavier? Give that a couple seconds, let that sink in again. I know we just ate, so a lot of y'all minds are probably out somewhere else, but yeah. So let that sink in. I got you. So I'm also going to have Nick Tucker with me, who's a senior graduating this year, to help me start this discussion. So when we're talking about our experiences, what does it mean to be Black at Xavier? I feel like there's no other better way for me to start this than just addressing for myself. So for me, I'm from Brooklyn, Narcy section. And every morning when I wake up, when I look outside my window, when I see the people who I pretty much accredit to the development of who I am today, who have played a significant role indirectly to what I'm able to do and what I plan to do in my future, I always take the time to reflect. I think of all the privileges that I have. It's the place in which I am the place that I know I am right now, and knowing that I have friends who live a couple doors down who have never had the same opportunity as me. And I feel like that's something very unique and special for a person of color who has come to Xavier. I feel like we've had friends that we've known that didn't really have the opportunity or the ability to come into this place or have the same opportunity in education-wise as we did. So it's always that time of me to reflect and really start looking at the world for what I have seen, seeing what is it that I'm able to do to now bring back to my community. What am I able to do that will
Keep going.
What am I able to do to now bring back to my community? What I'm able to do to now take things a step further, and what I'm able to do to, again, bring things like this together so that we are now able to help foster the next generation of students of color, and now bringing them into a safe space where they're also able to partake in something, in a gift like this power of community, this power of having people who look just like you, and having this time of healing and being able to now reflect and speak on these things, because as we know, there are times when we are in here and it feels as if we are not able to fully address these things. So I'm going to let Nick Tucker take this for right now and start going off on the experience part.
Okay, so hello again. I'm Nick Tucker, just in case you guys didn't get it third time. So 2 things you should know about me. 1, I'm from the Bronx. And 2, I'm part of the LGBTQ community, so that's important to know. So coming into Xavier, it was quite the transition. 1, because I don't fit in with the majority here, and 2, because I wasn't fully identifying myself yet. So coming in, it was difficult to be someone who was Black, because for the first time, I had to embrace my Blackness, to say the least. the middle school I went to was very diverse, and there were rarely any Caucasians. So it was just like, okay, everyone's just, you know, who they are and that's it. But coming in to Xavier and automatically being labeled black, all right, because that's all they saw. If you're not Caucasian, you have to either be Asian or black. That was like your labels. So it was different because, of course, I knew I was black, but I didn't know, I was never like told to my face, you're black, and that's it. So it was different. And I just want to share 2 comments that I got throughout the 4 years. One, and one of my favorite questions, are you Baptist? Because I guess all black people are Baptist. And it's like, oh, okay. No, I'm not Catholic, Roman Catholic, thank you. And the second one was, so tell me about your grandmother that's like Medea. That's like Medea? Because all black families have a grandmother like Medea, right? That's true. How many people have a grandmother like Medea? See, that wasn't a large majority. So, one, it was kind of offensive. I mean, I was like, I don't even know how to respond to that. So those would just be my 2 experiences on the short one.
First person who was really quick to get on top of this, I'm gonna let my boy Joe speak and talk about this.
Alright, so coming to Xavier was a very different experience for me. I've actually been, Xavier was the first, like, I guess, school where I wasn't like literally the only black kid. I came from a very elite private middle school where I was literally the poster child for through diversity. So like, I'll put it like this, I was the only black kid out of about 280 students for 8 years. And being surrounded by white people for that long kind of, to an extent, like really corrupted my image of like beauty and intelligence and who are the type of people I want to be like, like idols, stuff like that. To the point where I really like hated myself. I hated myself for not having straight blonde hair or having non-brown eyes. I didn't really care about blue eyes. I always wanted green, to be honest. I always hated myself for like, not having, the square cheekbones or whatever, not being able to change color like white people can, let's see, things like that. But I mean, like, that's how it is. Like, I hated being black. I wanted to be anything but black. And coming to Xavier was actually really positive because, one, I wasn't the only black kid in the class. I would look around, there were 3 other black kids in every class, and that actually felt, somewhat relieving, but as I got further to my academics, I guess high achieving, whatever, and then suddenly became the exact same thing. All my APs and honors I've ever took, I was always the only black kid there. And it sort of like became my middle school 2.0 again. Another thing of my Xavier experience is not just having like a white Irish kid telling you that he's gonna get a lynch mob because you're playing trap music in your homeroom, but having even the Dominican kids come at you saying like, I'm gonna put you back in the cotton fields if you talk to me like that again, you fucking nigger, like things like that. Like being black at Xavier is let's see, my experience is like literally having to essentially develop roast just to roast other dark-skinned people because dark skin is inherently bad and inferior. And I guess me and my friends back here can also attest to that. We've taken a fair share of so-called L's because we're blacker than 3:15 a.m. and things like that. Let's see. Being black at Xavier, sort of like, oh well, you're not playing football, so what are you here for? Like, I don't know. Like, it's just like because black people at Xavier, they can't be that smart. They gotta play some sort of sport, Let's see. Being black at Xavier is definitely something. It is quite something. not something. Never really experienced something quite like it. So in a lot of ways, it was better than the middle school, because I don't know, it wasn't just as exercise of overt. And in other ways, it was far, far worse.
I just want to share one thing. I work here as a student. I mean, I was a student, now I work here. Sometimes even when I'm trying to do my job, I feel like I'm being watched. It's weird. Like I feel like I'm singled out even as a colleague on my own team, right? Which is deep, right? You know, as you get older and you become a little bit more seasoned and you're professional, you would think that those feelings would change and that you would feel equity even in the workplace as somebody that works here. But sometimes I even feel like an extra set of eyes are on me because I'm different or because I'm the black guy on the advancement team. That's just another side of it from not being a student but seeing it as someone that works here. Who else? To share.
Really quickly, something I wanted to share was a memory I had from freshman year orientation. The first person I had met that day was like Isaiah, and I remember out of like the Ignatian scholars, the only two were me and Jamunze, and I was talking to Isaiah and he was telling me like he was hoping that he could like come out and do better than they expected him to do, and I think that's something he's accomplished. That I was phrased Xavier, but like what I wanted to say was